Have you ever felt a strange tightness in your chest and brushed it off? Or maybe a lightheaded moment that came and went, so you never gave it another thought? For many older adults, especially those over 60, these small whispers from the body are often ignored. But what if they're the early signs of something far more serious? Let's talk about the heart, not the poetic kind, but the one that works 24/7 to keep us alive. It beats roughly 100,000 times a day, moving blood, oxygen, and life through every inch of your body. Yet, it's often overlooked until it's in trouble. In this video, we're going to explore what happens when we ignore the subtle, early signs of heart illness. And more importantly, how paying attention can save your life. Picture this. You're walking up the stairs and you feel a bit more winded than usual. I'm just getting older, you think. But what if that breathlessness isn't age? What if it's your heart struggling? That's how it starts, small signs dismissed as nothing. One of the most common early signs of heart trouble is fatigue, and not just any fatigue. This is the kind that seeps into your bones and doesn't go away after rest. You might wake up tired, go through your day feeling like you're dragging yourself forward. It's easy to blame it on poor sleep or just having a lazy day. But when it becomes a pattern, especially combined with shortness of breath, it's time to pay attention. Another overlooked symptom is swelling in your legs or ankles. Your shoes might feel tighter, or your socks might leave deeper marks. This can happen when your heart isn't pumping efficiently and fluid starts to back up in your legs. People often think it's from sitting too long or a salty meal, and while those can play a role, persistent swelling is something to never ignore. Let's not forget chest discomfort, not always sharp pain. Sometimes it's a pressure, a squeezing, an odd feeling that lingers for a few minutes and then disappears. It's these vague discomforts that are easy to brush off. After all, if it were serious, wouldn't it hurt more? Not necessarily. For seniors, especially women, heart symptoms can feel more like indigestion than a heart attack. But here's the problem. When we ignore these signs, we're giving the illness time to progress. Time for arteries to narrow. Time for the heart muscle to weaken. And by the time we finally take it seriously, the damage might already be deep. There's a quiet danger in assuming these signs are just part of aging. We tell ourselves, "Of course I get tired, I'm not young anymore." Or, "A little dizziness is normal at my age." But normal aging doesn't mean you lose energy or struggle to breathe. That's not aging, that's warning. This is where wisdom comes into play. With age comes the gift of experience, but also the responsibility to listen to your body more closely than ever. And not just listen, act on what you hear. Imagine someone you love, your spouse, a close friend, even a parent who has been feeling off lately. You've noticed the changes. They nap more often, struggle to keep up, or quietly mention some strange sensations. What would you say to them? You'd probably urge them to see a doctor. So why is it so hard to take our own advice? Let's not wait for a dramatic event to wake us up. Let's not learn the hard way. You don't need to collapse to realize something's wrong. Often, the heart sends messages in a whisper before it screams. And those whispers might be your only chance to act before it's too late. As we continue this journey, we'll uncover what happens inside the body when early signs go ignored. We'll explore the risks, the science, and the stories of people who paid attention and those who didn't. This isn't meant to scare you, it's to awaken you. Because in the quiet rhythm of your heartbeat lies the truth about your health. And if you're willing to listen closely, you might just catch a danger before it becomes disaster. In part 2, we'll go deeper. We'll look at how early heart illness develops over time, how it interacts with the rest of your body, and how to recognize patterns you may have missed. So take a deep breath. This conversation is just beginning, and it might be the most important one of your life. If you've made it this far, it means you're ready to face something that many people try to avoid: the truth. The truth that heart illness doesn't show up out of nowhere. It builds slowly, quietly, over years, sometimes decades. And the signs, those soft taps on the shoulder, are rarely dramatic. They are subtle, persistent, easy to dismiss. But when ignored, they become the very thing that puts everything else in life at risk. Let's take a step inside the body. When your heart begins to struggle, it doesn't shout. It whispers through changes in blood pressure, subtle shifts in energy, and that feeling you can't quite explain as though something isn't right. And at first, the body does its best to compensate. It adjusts. It finds a way to keep going, even with limited blood flow or growing blockages in your arteries. But nothing comes without a cost. That compensation, it's temporary. Over time, the strain starts to show. Your heart might enlarge to work harder. The vessels might stiffen, and the oxygen your muscles need to thrive may slowly decrease. That's when you notice it. Walking becomes more tiring. Climbing stairs feels like climbing a mountain. You begin sitting more, doing less, not because you're lazy, but because your body is making silent adjustments to a problem you haven't faced yet. This is how heart illness takes root in the elderly. Many seniors mistake these changes for normal aging. And yes, our bodies do change with time, but here's what doesn't change. Your body's need for proper circulation, oxygen, and balance. So when that balance is off, when your heart isn't keeping up, everything else begins to unravel too. You might notice digestion slows. You may feel colder than usual or even more anxious. Your sleep may become lighter and more fragmented. That's not random, it's your heart affecting your entire system. Now let's talk about the brain. One of the biggest dangers of heart issues is how they impact cognitive function. When the heart can't pump enough oxygen-rich blood to the brain, you may begin to feel foggy, forgetful, or even confused. And again, these are things that are easy to explain away. You tell yourself, "I'm just having a senior moment," or "I'm tired today." But when those moments stack up, when clarity becomes rare and fatigue becomes your normal, there's likely something deeper going on. There's also a powerful link between heart health and emotional well-being. As the heart weakens, depression and anxiety can increase. Not only because of the physical toll, but also because the mind knows something is wrong, even if you haven't said it out loud yet. Many elderly people feel a growing unease they can't explain. That's not just emotion. It could be your heart trying to get your attention. Now, here's a truth most people never hear until it's too late. The first symptom of heart disease in some seniors is death. Yes, you heard that right. For a surprising number of older adults, the first noticeable event is a fatal heart attack. No warning, no dramatic buildup, just a sudden end. That's why these early, softer signs matter so much, because they might be your only chance to intervene. But this isn't just about fear. It's about power, the power of awareness, of action, of choice. Because when you listen early, when you speak to your doctor about those tiny changes, the possibilities shift. Suddenly, your future isn't built on guessing, it's built on knowing. You can begin treatment. You can adjust your habits. You can slow or even reverse damage. And perhaps most importantly, you can gain peace of mind. Let's pause here and imagine a different version of the story. Picture someone who starts feeling out of breath more easily. Instead of ignoring it, they take it seriously. They talk to a professional. They discover some blockages early. Treatment begins. Maybe it's medication, maybe a change in diet and routine. And a year later, that same person is walking without struggle, laughing more, sleeping better, and enjoying life in a way they hadn't felt in years. That future is real. It's not fantasy. But it only becomes real when we decide that no symptom is too small to matter. Now, let's take a moment to talk about one of the most powerful, yet neglected tools we all have: our own intuition. You know your body. You've lived in it for decades. You know when something feels different, even if you can't explain it. That subtle tug of concern you feel, that something's off instinct, that's wisdom. Don't silence it. Don't brush it aside because a test came back normal or a friend said it was nothing. Your body talks to you. And listening is one of the greatest acts of self-care there is. We're going to talk about prevention, real, doable, everyday steps that can protect your heart and restore confidence in your health. From foods that support circulation to daily habits that fight back against decline, this next part is all about taking action. So stay with me. This is your story, and you have more control over it than you may realize. And remember, if you found this valuable so far, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this with someone you love. Your simple action could change a life today. Now that we understand how heart illness can quietly affect every part of your life, let's shift the focus to something more empowering, what you can do about it. The moment you decide to listen to your body is the moment everything starts to change. Prevention isn't about avoiding life's pleasures or living in fear. It's about making small, powerful choices that help your heart do what it was designed to do, support your life. Let's begin with the one thing that's always in your hands, your daily habits. The food you eat is one of the most direct ways you can either protect your heart or put it under stress. And it's not about perfect diets or strict rules. It's about awareness. The more whole, unprocessed foods you choose, the more you support your heart. Leafy greens, berries, oats, nuts, beans, they don't just fill your stomach, they fuel your life. These foods are rich in fiber, antioxidants, and healthy fats that help lower cholesterol, reduce inflammation, and keep your arteries clear. But just as important as what you add in is what you leave out. Salt, trans fats, processed meats, and sugary snacks might taste comforting, but over time, they create an invisible burden on your cardiovascular system. They narrow the arteries, raise your blood pressure, and create the perfect conditions for a heart attack or stroke to strike when you least expect it. And here's the hard part. Many of these foods are staples in the everyday diet of seniors. Why? Because they're easy, convenient, and often tied to memories of comfort. But that comfort can come with a cost. The good news? You don't have to give up everything. Just start with awareness. Begin by looking at labels. Choose lower sodium options. Replace white bread with whole grain. Add one fruit or vegetable to your plate each day. It's not about restriction. It's about direction, moving slowly toward what supports life. Next, let's talk about movement. You don't have to run marathons to have a strong heart, but you do have to move. Sitting for long periods every day reduces circulation, weakens muscles, and allows inflammation to build. Movement keeps your blood flowing. It strengthens your lungs. It stimulates your brain. A simple daily walk, even for 10 to 15 minutes, can make a difference. If walking is hard, try stretching or gentle chair exercises. Dance to music in your living room. Gardening, light cleaning, even standing up and sitting down several times, it all adds up. Movement is medicine, and when done consistently, it's one of the most powerful tools you have to prevent heart decline. Now, let's talk about something that gets overlooked. Sleep. Many seniors think it's normal to sleep poorly as they age. But poor sleep, especially disrupted or shallow sleep, puts tremendous strain on the heart. When your body doesn't enter deep rest, your blood pressure stays higher, your stress hormones remain active, and over time, that adds up. The heart doesn't get the break it needs to recover from the day's work. Creating a peaceful sleep routine isn't just about going to bed earlier, it's about creating space for rest. Avoid caffeine late in the day, turn off screens an hour before bed, read something calming, make your bedroom quiet, dark, and cool. These small adjustments tell your body it's safe to let go, to restore, to heal. Now let's talk about one of the most important and misunderstood factors in heart health: emotional stress. Stress doesn't always look like panic or fear. Sometimes it's quiet, lingering worry, unspoken sadness, loneliness, feeling like a burden. These emotions may not raise alarms, but they absolutely impact your heart. Stress raises cortisol and adrenaline hormones that prepare your body for danger. In small amounts, they're helpful. But when stress is constant, they begin to damage blood vessels, raise blood pressure, and inflame the body from within. So what can you do? Start by talking. Whether it's a trusted friend, family member, or therapist, opening up can lower emotional pressure. Connect with others, even in small ways. A phone call, a walk with a neighbor, joining a community class, or even an online group. Human connection is not a luxury, it's a survival tool for the heart. And if you're spiritual or religious, lean into those practices. Prayer, meditation, reflection, they all offer a sense of grounding. A reminder that you're not alone, even when life feels heavy. Lastly, and perhaps most importantly, know your numbers. Your blood pressure, your cholesterol, your blood sugar. These are not just numbers, they are windows into your heart's future. Regular checkups can catch problems before they become disasters. Ask your doctor questions. Request the tests you need. Keep track. When you know where you stand, you're not guessing. You're acting from strength. It's never too late. Whether you're 60, 70, or 90, your body is still responding to the care you give it. Every day is a new opportunity to make a change, to support your heart, to claim your health with intention. And as always, if this message speaks to you, don't forget to subscribe to Golden Daily Life, like this video, and share it with someone you care about. You never know who might need this more than they realize. In the next part, we'll look at real-life scenarios, what happens when signs are ignored, and what changes when they are caught early. Stories that remind us we're not alone in this, and that action, even small, can make all the difference. Sometimes, it's not the big warnings that wake us up. It's the small ones. A friend who suddenly isn't around anymore. A quiet moment when you realize you've been short of breath more often than not. A missed appointment that makes you finally sit down and ask yourself, how am I really feeling? Let's be honest, it's easy to ignore signs when life gets busy or when we fear the answer. Many seniors have spent years putting others first, staying strong, staying silent. But silence, when it comes to heart illness, is not strength. It's risk. We often think it's just a little chest tightness, or it's just aging, or everyone my age is tired. But brushing these things off can be dangerous. It's not about worrying over every symptom, it's about knowing your baseline and noticing when things change. So many lives could be changed, even saved, with just one decision. To pay attention, let's talk about some real-life reminders. Stories that echo the experiences of many seniors. There was a man in his early 70s. For months, he had been getting more winded on his daily walks, but he chalked it up to getting older. Then one day, after climbing a short flight of stairs, he felt dizzy and faint. He sat down, rested, told himself he was fine. He never told his doctor. 2 weeks later, he had a mild heart attack. Thankfully, he survived, and that scare led him to change everything: his diet, his routine, his checkups. Today, he says he feels stronger than he did 10 years ago. But he often says, I wish I'd listened sooner. And then, a woman who always prided herself on being independent. She had been feeling more tired, sleeping longer hours, and losing her appetite. No pain, no chest pressure, just off. Her daughter finally convinced her to get checked. Turns out, she had a condition called silent ischemia, restricted blood flow to the heart without obvious symptoms. Catching it early meant treatment was simple. No hospital stay, no crisis, just new medication and changes that gave her years of good health ahead. These are not dramatic Hollywood stories. These are quiet, everyday moments that happen to real people. People who could be your neighbors, your friends, your family, or even you. Heart illness doesn't always come with a bang. Sometimes it creeps in slowly, quietly, and patiently waits. That's why it's called the silent killer. But silence is something we can break. We do it by checking in with ourselves more often, by saying yes to regular health screenings, by listening to our bodies instead of rushing past them, by making that call to the doctor instead of putting it off, and by remembering one important truth: your life still matters deeply, fully, and completely, no matter your age, no matter your past. You deserve a heart that's cared for, a body that's heard, a life that's lived with energy and ease. You also deserve to feel supported. If you're watching this and feel overwhelmed, don't go through it alone. Reach out, speak up, tell someone how you've been feeling. Let them walk this journey with you. If you're the child, the friend, or the caregiver of a senior listen with love, don't dismiss their concerns as just aging. Aging may bring changes, yes, but pain, fatigue, shortness of breath, or swelling, these are not normal. These are signs, invitations to act. And remember, you don't have to transform your whole life overnight. Small changes are powerful. Choosing water instead of soda, taking a 10-minute walk after lunch, swapping salty snacks for fresh fruit, calling your doctor when something feels off. It all adds up, and you may never know how many problems you prevented simply by choosing to care today. So, what do you do now? You take a deep breath. You thank your body for everything it's done for you so far. And you decide, right now, that it deserves your attention and care, not later, not tomorrow, but today. Because ignoring early signs doesn't make them go away. It just gives them more time to grow. But when you acknowledge them, when you act early, that's when healing begins. That's when the heart tired, stressed, or even damaged has the chance to recover, repair, and keep beating for many more years. Thank you for spending your time with us today. If this message resonated with you, please like this video, subscribe to Golden Daily Life, and share it with someone you care about. You might just change or save a life. Until next time, stay kind to yourself, stay aware, and keep your heart strong.